Red Zone Sports Ante. Wham, bam, thank you, Uncle Sam.
Welcome along to week 7 of Upping the Ante in association with RedZone.bet. And Gavin, it's my first as a married man.
My God.
So if there's people tuning in to Upping the Ante for the last 2 years, for the last 6 weeks, if they're tuning in just to get to know me, just to get to know more about me, and if it's just me that they're tuning in for, I'm sorry ladies, I'm a taken man. You can tune out now. Gavin, we've lost no viewers. No viewers have we lost. I'm David Jennings, of course, and I'm joined by our resident Cheltenham expert, Gavin Lynch, who I've been watching the show while I was away.
Yes.
Christmas just didn't go according to plan.
No. We can talk about something else. Maybe your honeymoon was the best honeymoon you're ever on.
It was my favourite honeymoon so
Ever.
far. Yeah, it was really
Red
good.
Zone
yeah,
Sports
yeah.
Ante. Wham, bam, thank you, Uncle Sam.
So we're going to review the last 7 days. Now, we didn't see too many Cheltenham pointers, but there were a couple of noteworthy performances.
Yeah, I just run through a few there during the week. Like there was nearly nothing during the week, but Daybreak Boy is a horse that won in Clonmel on Thursday. It might end up in a Martin Pipe. Saturday then, Surin beat Gardens of Babylon, getting £12. The mare was. She had also, Gardens of Babylon had a £5 penalty for winning previously. They might end up in a triumph, probably not good enough. Duke of Tay won the Danmore Handicap Chase. Don't know if you've seen it.
Loved the way he travelled, yeah.
But the way he jumped, he jumped fantastic. For a horse that's only, doesn't look like a huge horse, but for a novice he jumped fantastic.
And he used to be known as a rogue.
Yeah, well, he's jumping great at the minute, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes. He won off 143. I presume he'll go up to 150. He's probably not good enough to win a Grade 1 against the other novices, but certainly his jumping is
He was
fantastic.
more impressive than the winning margin too.
Yeah, he travelled like the best horse. I'm sure he was probably even money turning in. In Kempton then we had Top Notch beating Black Corton, who was a little bit of an eye catcher. I wouldn't be adverse to think maybe Black Corton for a entry national.
Yeah, we have some Ryanair betting here. Min is the current favourite, 11-2. Waiting patiently, of course, is going to go for this race now. 6-1, Footpad 7-1, Undersow 17-2, Monley 9-1, and Top Notch 9-1. And there's some others in 9-1. But I suppose if you're looking for a kind of a solid option that would probably run his race, probably be placed, it would probably be Top Notch, wouldn't it?
He'll have a chance. I mean, he ran a cracker a couple of years ago in the JLT. He was only just beaten by York Hill, so he has track form. He likes
made a
good
mistake
ground.
in second last that
He
day,
did. He jumps well. He won very well the other day. Charbel got taken off the lead, didn't seem to enjoy it. As I said to you, Black Corton could be one to keep an eye on, maybe for an English national or something. It stayed on very well over a trip too short. On the same card, you had Big Time Dancer for John Joe O'Neill Jr. It won the Lanzarote of 125. I could see that maybe end up again like Daybreak Boy in the Martin Pipe. Yeah. And a third horse to mention for maybe the Martin Pipe Handicap Hurdle is Charles Burns' horse that won in Wetherby on Saturday, called Those Days Are Gone. It won off 118, won very easy. It'll have to maybe win again if it wants to get in Cheltenham, but that might end up in a handicap.
Carefully executed Charles Burns plan, perhaps.
Yeah, no, it won very well in Wetherby. And in Warwick, then on Saturday, OK Corral, who we're going to talk about later on, it won very, very easily against Seeker Investor and Rocky's Treasure. It won by 6 lengths, travelled like the best
Did you ever
horse.
see that horse in the flesh? Oh, he's giant.
OK Corral.
Oh, gorgeous horse, yeah.
You must have seen him last year in the Bartlett at Cheltenham.
Yeah, lovely horse.
And also Beakstown won in Warwick, 16th one for the Ballymore. Mightn't be good enough to win, but won quite well. And 3 to mention yesterday in Punchestown, Winter Escape, who was a big drifter because presumably it had the £7 penalty. It was given a Plutard £14. A very good performance. That might end up in a JLT, but JP has 2 or 3 in that maybe, so we'll see. Felix Deji was quite impressive in the Moscow Flyer, the Grade 2 over 2 mile, won by 5 lengths from Jatez.
Could he win a Supreme?
I don't think so. He's a bit of a character, we'll say. The change of tactics where he leads now seems to make a big difference to him. He loves being in front. He's like a race bully. He just goes to the front and tanks along. So he won quite well. And one other horse to mention yesterday was Vision Denure. It only won a maiden hurdle. It beat Elixir Danae, but it was quite impressive.
I'd say love him in the yard.
That's going to be a nice horse, yeah.
They really
mightn't be good enough to win at Cheltenham, but he's a very nice horse.
Yeah, he certainly is. That's last week. Of course, this weekend we have got the return of the best horse in training at the moment, Altior, Gavin.
Yeah, I don't think he's officially, but yeah, he's my favourite. And
how is your campaign going to get him up to
180?
180, yeah.
I've started writing letters, yes. We'll see how that goes. What do you think?
Yeah, I just think when you go through all his form stacks up, his performances stack up, he's just in a different league to anything out there at the minute. I think he'd win the Ryanair. He probably would potentially win a Gold Cup if he ran it. So I think
possibly, he'd definitely win the Ryanair, all right. But
only 4 runners in the Clarence House Chase at the 5-day stage. And Gavin, you've got the 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, just in reverse order to the bet in 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, sure. Undersow will be second.
Yeah.
Fox Norton will be third. So.
Diego de Charmille fourth. A bit of a disappointing turnout. We've got a couple of races in Haydock. My beloved Brain Power runs in what is now called the new one, Unibet Hurdle. So a race called after the new one.
Very good. Yeah, that's fair.
There's a new one for you. And Brain Power runs in that, and you've also got the Peter Marsh Chase, which Bristol the Might won a couple of years ago, which looks quite open. These weekends leading up to Cheltenham, I suppose we're gearing up for the Dublin Racing Festival, really, aren't we?
As somebody was saying earlier, that the weekends in between are probably a bit quiet as a result because they're putting them all together, So but it's only 2.5 weeks away, we'll say.
Now, Gavin, I love nothing more than to see you frustrated.
Yes.
One of my favourite things in life, to see you scratching your hair, pulling it out.
Yeah.
And so for that reason, we're going to talk about the Novice Hurdles at the 2019 Cheltenham Festival. So we're going to start off with the Supreme, and the favourite at the moment is Angel's Breath at 11-2.
Yes.
Vision Denair, who won a Punchdown Maiden Hurdle yesterday, is second favourite at the moment. Araman 12-1, Al Dancer 12-1, Elixir de Nuts is 12-1, 14-1 Bar. Of course, we've just found out that Quick Grabham has suffered a stress fracture and is out of the Supreme Novice Hurdle, which lessens Willie Mullen's hand even further. Gavin, how do you make head or tail of this?
I don't know. You can say the same about all the Novice Hurdles this year. It's just a strange Cheltenham.
Very strange, yeah.
There's nothing jumping off the page. Even the Novice Chases aren't much different. They're a little bit better, a bit clearer. But the Novice Hurdles, I don't know where you'd start. I don't know.
Now, I know you're probably not going to answer this, but if I was to give you a score to put on anything in the Supreme, what would you put on?
I'd give it to charity. I just wouldn't bother. Angel's Breath was quite impressive.
Yeah,
it's
grand,
only, grand, but not. It won a point to point. It's won an Ascot. It's fine. Araman was impressive at Christmas, but up to that, you wouldn't have gave it a chance in the Supreme. It beat a mare the last day. I don't know. I think I'd forget about it for a month.
Okay, so that goes to charity. The Ballymore Novice Hurdle. The only thing about the Ballymore is we've got two kind of proven performers now. We've got two Grade 1 winners at the top of the market in Champ and Battle Over Diane.
Yes.
Two horses that look like they could go right to the top, both over hurdles and over fences in time. Who would your preference be between these two?
I'd pick Champ. Simply that the form of Battle Over Diane and Ace, I don't think it was up to much. Willie's two horses ran terrible on the day. The second, third and fourth are grand horses. You'd love to own them, but I'd pick Champ winning the last day to be better form than Battle Over Diane.
Yeah, I'd pick Champ as well. He in many ways, the way he travels through his race reminds me of Mike Ante yours, but the substance to his finishing effort, I thought he was more impressive in the Challow than the winning margin suggested. So at least, okay, we've got some little bit of substance here, and we've some little bit of clarity. We're both going for Champ. Solid favourite. We think he's better than the second favourite.
I haven't backed him and I won't back him, but not yet anyway.
Yeah, you wouldn't be donating this to charity.
No.
You'd be putting the score on Champ.
I would. Okay,
so there's a score on Champ for Gavin Lynch. Moving on to the Albert Bartlett Novices Hurdle. And if you think the last two were head scratchers, you'll have no hair left, Gavin.
Yeah, I'd say...
Now, this won't run, so this definitely won't run this race. Gordon is one of these men, if he says a horse is going for a specific race, unless something untoward happens, that will happen. So Battle Over Diane is going to go for the Ballymore. Beakstown won at Warwick at the weekend. He's grand. Rock Point was well beaten at Warwick at the weekend. Is 14-1. Carefully selected 16-1. Darren Ross 16-1. 18-1 Bar. Any light to be shed on this whatsoever?
None. If I gave you 10 horses, you wouldn't pick the winner of it.
Okay, so charity is doing well
charity
today.
Again, yeah.
Another St Vincent de Paul, another €20 to St Vincent de Paul. And moving on to the Triumph Hurdle, just to make matters even worse. Is there any performance so far from the juveniles that's impressed you? Sir Eric was a very good flat horse.
Sir Eric was good. He only won by, what was it, a head or neck at Leopardstown at Christmas.
Tiger Tap, yeah.
The horse that won in Chepstow at Christmas, the one that you'd mentioned before, I can't think the name.
Paul Nichols?
Yeah.
Yeah, I should know it.
I know.
It'll come to me. It'll come to me.
He's very tenacious.
I thought of it. It's Quell Destin.
Yeah. Quell Destin. It beat Ajali, belonged to Nicky's in Chepstow. And 3 times he's only won by literally a half an hour.
He's a hardy so-and-so.
But he's a hardy, tough boy, that lad. So he'd have a chance. But
yeah, you could see him being, again, one of these ones, you could see
forget
him
the
being
Triumph.
placed.
The Triumph is not a punting race.
Yeah, okay. Well, it sounds like none of them are punting races
no,
at
not
the moment.
No.
Okay, so they are the 4 novice hurdles at the Cheltenham Festival, which shows just how open and how little we know so far. Hopefully the next month or so will shed some light on the subject of the novice hurdles. Okay, so Gavin, those are 4 races that we know absolutely nothing about, but there are 2 races which I hope we do know something about. They are our next selections for week 7 of Upping the Ante. But before we move on to the most important part of the show, we're going to go over to Kane Calvin from our sponsors, redzone.bet. We've got some very interesting questions for Kane. And the first of those, Kane, is what has been the most bizarre bet struck with Red Zone for Cheltenham? The bet which had the whole trading room scratching their heads wondering how.
Hi guys, bit of a change of scenery here today. I've been a bit ill, so I'm doing it from the confines of my own home. But enough about me. The most bizarre bet we have laid, to be honest, we've only really laid normal bets really. I was having a look today, you see the accumulators, your champion race stuff, your bet boosts, all that we've done there. I couldn't really find anything that made me scratch my head really, and I'm quite glad that we haven't. It would put me on edge a little bit if we did. It would probably suggest that maybe we've missed out on a bit of information somewhere. Maybe a horse is running where we didn't really give it a chance of running there. But so yeah, I mean at the same time, I wish I could give you a better story, but at the same time, I'm happy that we haven't laid anything that makes me scratch my head and go, why have they done that?
All right, Kane, that's fair enough. No bizarre bet struck with redzone.bet. I would have thought them, Boover there for the Stayers Hurdle, something ridiculous like that, or maybe
Sam Crowe for the champion.
Or even Sam Crowe for the champion hurdle. That would certainly be bizarre. And your second question, Kane, is we want you to try and predict the SP at the Cheltenham Festival for Bouverdaire, Altior, Penhill and Presenting Percy. Kane, you tell us what price those horses are going to go off.
Right, so Bouverdaire, he was 4-6 when he won last year. He's currently 11-8 of us. I suspect he'll probably go off around between those two prices really. Probably around the even money mark, but I mean it's very dependent on whether Lorena runs in that race or not. Moving on to Altior, he was evens last year, but that was an interrupted prep and probably against a stronger field than what he's facing this year. He's currently 4-9 with us. I mean, assuming his prep race goes smoothly, I reckon he'll get back to you, and I envision a lot of support for him. I reckon 3's on, maybe even 4's on, he goes off in that race. And then Penhill for the Stayers. He was 12-1 when he won it last year. 16s when he won the Albert Bartlett a year before that. We tend to see very little of him, so it's hard to gauge his well-being. But the Stayers is normally a competitive race, so you normally get a lot of turning up there. I reckon, if I had to guess now, I'd say 4-1. I reckon he'll be well supported, but not too sure. And then lastly, Presenting Percy. Once again, like with Penhill, it'd be nice if we saw him on a race course so we could actually gauge his well-being as well. He's 4-1 with us. The punters have loved him all year. I think, if anything, he'll get backed in a little bit more, but the Gold Cup will be a strong race this year. I think there'll be a lot of horses with chances in it, so he can't go off too short either. But, I mean, his SP is entirely dependent on his prep run, really.
Thanks very much for that, Kane. Now, this is the most important part of the show. It's why everybody tunes in. It is our next selections for the 2019 Cheltenham Festival. And Gavin, because so many women have tuned out because they found out I had the wedding ring on my finger, we're trying to keep the viewers that we have tuned in to the end of the show. So for that reason, we're going to keep your selection until last, just to keep them hanging at the edge of their seat. So it's time for my selection, my next selection for the 2019 Cheltenham Festival. And it is, I never thought I'd say this, it's Black Up in the Stayers Hurdle. I think this is a very shrewd move by Tom George to bring this horse back over hurdles. The Yogi Breisner has been doing a little bit of schooling with him, and obviously jumping fences hasn't been his thing. Jumping hurdles isn't even his thing. He's a poor jumper, but by God, he's got some engine. And I think the step up to 3 miles, he won his point to point by 25 lengths. The only time he's run over 3 miles, of course that's a point to point. They're not going that fast. But I think all his form actually stacks up quite well. Even in the Ballymore last year, he was second to Sam Crowe. And if you play down Sam Crowe, it's a different Sam Crowe last year to the Sam Crowe this year. Different Sam Crowe. Yeah. He was second that day. He was 5 lengths clear next destination. And decent horse in behind the likes of Duke to Geneva and so on. Then he went to Aintree and he really dug deep to beat Lost in Translation in the 2.5 mile grade 1 at Aintree. Things didn't go to plan this year. I thought he ran okay at Exeter, thought he ran okay at Cheltenham on New Year's Day. But I think this is a shrewd move because I think over 3 miles, I think he'll be able to get into a little bit of a better rhythm. He's used to jumping over shorter distances, so I hope the step up to 3 miles is going to see him jumping better. He's 16-1 enhanced from 12-1 with redzone.bet, our sponsors, which I think is a very generous enhancement. And the main reason for picking Black Op in the Stayers Hurdle is because it's a bloody terrible race. Penhill is your 5-1 favourite. We haven't seen him all year. I know he's your idea of the winner. Yeah. Apple Shade is not going to run the race. Super Sunday's not going to run the race. Lord holy God. If Black Op cannot beat Paisley Park, I'll throw me hat at it. And then you've got Champ, who's favourite for the Ballymore.
But he won't run that either.
So I presume the connections of Black Op sat down and said to themselves, hold on here a second, lads. There is a championship race at the Cheltenham Festival here for the taking. We have a horse that I think has got a huge engine. They think he's got a huge engine. That is a proper Grade 1 horse. I think come the race, he's going to run in the Cleeve Hurdle later on this month at Cheltenham. I think he'll win that. And you know what? I think after that race, he's going to be favourite for the Stayers Hurdle. Black Op, favourite for the Stayers Hurdle after he wins the Cleeve Hurdle. Take the 16-1 with Red Zone, that bet. Did I make a good case, Gavin?
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, you don't sound convinced.
The idea of switching back from fences to a Stayers Hurdle, that's not going to work.
I know, it's not going to work. Sure, it didn't happen with big bucks, did it?
Big bucks, no, that's what I was going to say.
I beat you to it. So that's my selection, Black Op, but of course you're tuned in to hear Gavins' selection. And Gavin, your next selection, I can feel it in my bones that there's going to be a kind of a couple of weeks where you're just going to get it together and things are going to go well. Yep. You're going to be tipping horses that are going to go off 5, 6, 7 points shorter than they are at the time.
Well, this one can't go off 5 or 6 points shorter.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
The only negative with this one is the price. It's OK Corral for the 4-miler.
Okay, it's the
National Hunt Chase.
There's a man now that's just playing it safe. Let's try and get a winner.
I'm just struggling to find tips at the moment for Cheltenham.
Well, do explain.
So, although he's 9, he's only actually ran 9 times in total. He ran twice in bumpers. He's only had 2 runs over fences. He won very well in Plumpton over 3 mile, 1.5 furlongs. And the other day in Warwick, he won well again over 3 mile. You have to remember last year that he was staying on second in the Bartlett. I don't think there's a problem with him staying. He made a bad mistake at the last in the Bartlett and stayed on very well up the hill. The fact that they sent Derek O'Connor to his first ride for Nicky Henderson at the weekend in Warwick was a great pointer, because to have Jamie Codd, Derek O'Connor or Patrick Mullins riding a horse in the 4-miler, it has to be worth 5, 6, 7 pounds, I think. The 3 lads are a standout. So to have Derek riding him, Derek is grand in bumpers, but I think he really excels over fences, to be honest.
Manila Rocco, what a ride when he won this race. Oh,
yeah,
beautiful.
No. And the thing is that Derek is very patient. So to stay 4 miles, he'll hack him around in midfield and he'll produce him late. He jumps brilliant. He travels very well. He's a very easy way of travelling, which will help him stay, you'd imagine. So, like for example, in that race, Miss Parfois was only that won that race in Warwick, was only beaten a half length in the 4-miler last year. So I think OK Corral is deserved to be favourite. We asked for a better price from Red Zone than 3-1, but they weren't willing to give it because they fancy him as well. So if his price was a little bit better, I'd be even keener, but just OK Corral for the 4-miler.
Now there's people that will be tuned in here and they're going to be saying to themselves, why on earth would I back a horse at 3-1 for the National Hunt Chase 2 months before Cheltenham? But do you think this is one favourite that could even shorten considerably from 3-1?
He could. He's rated 147. I think if he ran in the RSA, he's at kind of 12, 14 to 1 shot at the moment. That's because he's probably going here. But if he showed up in the RSA, he's a 6 or 7 to 1 shot. Like he's a proper horse. So at the moment, you can't really see too many top quality horses running in the 4-miler. I could see him going off 2 to 1 on the day. Yeah,
and the positive is, unlike so many other horses that are in markets for other races, Nicky Henderson has said he definitely goes for the race. Derek O'Connor has gone over to Warwick to ride him, so the clues are there.
Yeah, the chances are, it's 90% sure, I'd say, that he's going for the 4-miler. So he's a top quality horse, and the 4-miler doesn't always end up a top quality race, so I think he should win. Yeah.
Okay, so he should win. There you go. That's OK Corral, Gavin Lynch's latest fancy up in the Ante. We're on to week 7 now, Gavin. And Gavin, the results over Christmas have been tough. Your confidence is just low at the moment. Yeah. But Gavin did tell me before the show that he was hemming and hawing between OK Corral and one other horse that he really wanted to put up at a much bigger price. But he said, no, I'm going to wait. I'm going to play it safe, and I'm going to wait until week 8 to put up the horse, which is a much bigger price. Don't say anything.
I won't.
We're going to keep that for next week, though. So you're going to have to tune in to week 8 of Up in the Ante, which will be with you next week. We have 7 days, Gavin, to find more clues for Cheltenham. Yes. And hopefully this week we'll see Alti, or we might see a few more.
I think it's only 8 weeks tomorrow to Cheltenham, so it's getting close.
You getting excited, Gavin?
I'm starting to, yeah.
Yeah. Well, only how many weeks ago did you say?
8.
8 weeks ago. Okay. So there you go, folks. That is week 7 of Up in the Ante in association with RedZone.bet. My thanks to Kane Calvin from our sponsors. My thanks to Gavin Lynch. I've been David Jennings. Thanks for watching.
RedZone Sports.bet. Wham, bam. Thank you, Uncle Sam.